She's one of Britain's most successful distance runners up till now. What can I learn from you? What are the best things that I could learn from you as a runner?
So I'd say consistency and small chunks is so much more fruitful, like further down the line.
So you were obviously running with mum and dad when you were super little. Were all your other friends out running with mum and dad?
And I use almost music and headphones as my warm-up. Like it takes me out of my environment.
Word on the ground is that it might be another hot year. What is the how do you cope with the heat? Hello and welcome to episode 4. Wow, we're steaming of I Can Run a Marathon with me, Emma B. It's lovely to have you with us. Now, if you're watching or listening to this whilst training for the London Marathon, we are now just 11 weeks away. Excuse me. Oh, my wrist. Whoo. Here. Right, I'm fine now. We're just 11 weeks away from the London Marathon. And if you're new to this podcast, I've decided that at 55 years old, that's what I'm going to do. Having never run before, we'll have a crack at the London Marathon 2026. And why not? So every episode, I'm going to bring you guests that we can basically extract as much information as possible. Because if, like me, you are a rookie and you're new to this, and this is what this podcast is all about, is starting from zero and going somewhere and doing something difficult and hard because, well, I thought anyway, my time of doing hard and difficult things was over. It turns out it's not. Brilliant. I'm going to bring you guests that we can extract all that information from to make your experience just that little bit better. Okay. And joining us today, this is so super special. It's true running royalty. I mean, get us. She's one of Britain's most successful distance runners who made her debut at the London Marathon last year, and it was immense. She was the fastest British woman to finish in 2 hours and 24 minutes. Doesn't even seem possible, but it is. She recently set a women's European 10K record in Valencia, finishing it in 30 minutes and 7 seconds. And she's even managed to squeeze us in between one of 2 hair appointments that she has every year. And no one gets in between a woman and their highlights. So this is a one-off, very special mini runners retreat from one of the finest elites. It's Eilish McColgan. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. We find you freshly coiffed from, you've had your hair done. Because the other thing that you do really well, right, the McColgans do really well is ponytails and hair, okay? It's part of your identity, your family identity. So, I'm glad to see that you're looking after your locks as well as your legs.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm the most consistent with it. It's literally a twice a year hairdressing appointment. So I probably need to work a little bit more on the consistency of that. But I have a lot of travel coming up, so it's done and dusted now, and it's going straight back into a ponytail tomorrow morning, unfortunately.
I think it makes me a little bit happy that you have issues with consistency about something because it certainly doesn't occur in any other part of your professional life. We saw you at the beginning of January. So you're in Dubai now. So you've gone, but in January you were smashing the ice yourself off a track to get the training done.
Yeah.
How have you gone from snow to sunshine in such a short space of time?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously a little bit of a different year for me. I normally wouldn't be racing such big races so early on in the season, but yeah, I wanted to do something different. Coming back from injury the last couple of years, I wanted to get back into racing again and enjoy it. So that race was in Spain. We decided to go to a training camp for just 10 days ahead of it. And yeah, I knew there was a risk of snow. We were going to a ski resort, so that's probably my first warning sign. But it was the most snow they'd had in 40 years. So as you can imagine, it was great for all the local skiers, but less inviting for us as runners. We're indoors on the treadmill pretty much every day. But it paid off because I did get a PB at the very end of it. So it was definitely worth the hassle and the grind of being indoors for a full 10 days. But yeah, over in Dubai now, bit of a stopover. We're heading over to Japan this weekend for another race, another competition.
And what's in Japan? What awaits in Japan for you?
I have a half marathon, so it is on the 1st of February. First time doing a road race out there, so I'm really excited. I've obviously been there for the Olympic Games, but it was during the sort of COVID era, so we had no spectators in the stands and stuff. So this will be very different. First time doing a sort of mass participation race. I think it's operated for the last 78 years, which is absolutely mental.
Wow.
So yeah, really, really looking forward to that half marathon.
Okay. So listen, you're talking about mass participation events. So my name's Emma. I can run a marathon. I think I'm trying to. And I kind of look at your list of accolades and your list of your athletic achievements and, the family that you grew up in. And I'm kind of going, okay, so if I present, because you also train, you coach as well. You're involved with the Cooper Running app as well, which lots of people who are running the London Marathon will be using in their training as we approach the end of April. What can I learn? What can someone like me who is listening to this podcast, who hadn't anywhere near the contact with running that you have from being a wee girl up till now, what can I learn from you? What are the best things that I could learn from you as a runner?
I'd say consistency is key. I think a lot of people get really excited in the new year and it's like, new year, new me, I'm going to follow this training plan. And they go for just almost like overload. You try to do everything all at once. So you're trying to up your running, you're trying to stretch every day, and you're trying to eat better, and you're trying to go to the gym and do some core stability, and then you're trying to do some gym work too. And it just ends up being short-lived because it's everything all at once. So I'd say consistency and small chunks is so much more fruitful, like further down the line, because you'll have more chance of sticking at it and sticking with it, and actually having 1 week where you've just crammed everything in, or having a full month where you've tried to spread things out and been so consistent over that month makes a really, really big difference to your fitness. So instead of trying to do a full big, I don't know, hour-long routine of core stability, you could do just 5-10 minutes. 2 days a week is enough. It just in small, manageable chunks that that you can be really consistent. Because, I'm a professional athlete. I have all the hours in the day to train, but the everyday person doesn't. People have work, people have jobs, people have families to try and fit and squeeze in, and then social lives on top of that. Some people do have friends as well. So
you what?
It's it's hard to try and squeeze everything in. So I'd say try and be realistic and be accountable for that, but just small, manageable chunks is the best way to go.
And I think you're absolutely right, because what we've been trying to do as well on this podcast is to kind of sort of take the complexities out of it, and make it as simple as we possibly can, because it's a huge sport. It's a huge sport these days, and that's can only ever be a good thing, and it's really fantastic that so many people want to have a go, but I think the amount of information sometimes can be really overwhelming, and I'm finding particularly that very quickly you can fall behind with an app, and the program that you've got, and all of a sudden you've got 4 strength and conditioning chunks to do when you're sort of 4 miles or 3 miles behind where you're supposed to be at. You get very despondent very quickly, especially with 55-year-old knees who that aren't used to running at all. It's really hard, and so it can be a bit overwhelming, I think. Is that something that you're hearing as well?
Yeah, I think so. I think the main thing is to not feel guilty about what you've missed and not try and squeeze in what you've missed. I think that's a huge mistake that a lot of people do. So say they've skipped a gym session and then they try and do 2 days back to back. And same with runs. Say they miss their long run, they try and squeeze it in the next day, and then they try and squeeze something in the next day on top of that. It's so much better to just accept that day's gone and then refocus on what's coming up next. And even if it means you have to have the weekend off and completely then refocus to make sure that the Monday onwards you're really back onto it again, I think that's the best way to do it. There's no need to try and squeeze in the things you've missed, because it does just ultimately lead to sort of being overly fatigued, or worse, picking up like a niggle or an injury, and then ultimately you can't get to your end race. So I think that's why the plans are great. The Coupa apps particularly, it can adapt as you go along. So if you do miss something, it's not just going to try and throw it in there the next day and squeeze it in on top of something else. It will make sure it's all balanced and planned out for you, which is the thing that a coach would do. I coach athletes from all over the world, and that's what we always say to them. Don't worry about what you've missed. Refocus and move on.
If you could just clip the bit of Eilish saying, if you need to miss the weekend, that's fine. That would be amazing, just for me, so I can put that on my phone and play it back to myself several times. Also, I guess as well, and I'm not trying to. I mean, it's a foolish question in a lot of ways. But if you are starting literally from ground zero, because this is for me has been a journey about rediscovering my power, I guess, rediscovering my power at a certain age and having gone through a few bits and pieces, and midlife throws at you and all the rubbish that you go through, that everybody goes through in midlife, and the stresses and strains of that, and finding out whether I can do tough things again. And it's but if you are just starting off as well, Eilish, are there kind of some real flashpoints that you need to both get right and look out for?
Yeah, I'd say just again, building up gradually is really, really important. So don't throw yourself into if you've never ever done a 5K run before, then start really, really low level. You can start with a 60-second jog, a 60-second walk, and
Yeah.
just build it up. The next week then might be you're doing a 2-minute jog, a 1-minute walk, and build it up. So you think at the time this might feel a bit, I don't know, far from where I'm wanting to go, but actually it will gradually start to compound together week on week, month on month. Don't just try and rush into things that you've never done before. I think a lot of people, yeah, just want to jump straight to racing, but not doing the small bits. And the interval sessions are really, really important. So again, I try and really focus on, I think for anybody, whether you're focusing on a 10K, half marathon, a marathon, it's really important that you try and get in one interval session throughout the week and one long run. And if you can get those two elements, I mean, you're ticking two of the biggest boxes towards building your fitness. Of course, if you can fit in some extra easy runs, great. But if you've never run before, I mean, starting with just 2 days a week running is perfect. And
It's
then you
better
can
than
build
nothing.
up to 3 days, 4 days, 5 days. There's no need to start thinking you're going to have to go out every single day and run a 5K
Oh,
every day or a 10K every day when you're starting from zero.
says you who went out twice on Christmas Day.
Yeah, well, it's taken me a long time from the age of 11 years old to get here. So I've got plenty of experience behind me.
Yeah, you have indeed. And you were obviously running with mum and dad when you were super, super little. Were all your other friends out running with mum and dad as well? Or was it something that obviously thought it was the most natural thing in the world?
Yeah, it's weird. Like I thought it was totally normal until I went to high school, and then I realized that not everyone's parents went out for runs every day, and that they
Every day.
thought that was, yeah, and that was just a completely normal thing to do. I mean, twice a day my parents would be out training, and I just thought everyone's parents went training. I didn't really understand that it wasn't a normal, typical job. So yeah, it was definitely a bit of an eye opener going to high school and realizing that it's an unusual thing to be part of that, even that family like dynasty of sport. It's
Yeah,
yeah, it's certainly unusual, but I mean, it's normal to me. I've always loved it from a very young age. My parents let me do all different sports. That was one of the most important things. I think they wanted me to try everything, but running was just the one that naturally I did fall in love with.
Well, it's not a surprise. I've just been reading your mum's book actually recently. It's an astonishing family, such an amazing family. Really, it's just it's in your genes, isn't it? It's just in every pore of your body. It really is. You mentioned interval training. I'm quite enjoying doing my interval training on a treadmill because it feels like more of a precise science. And you just mentioned being on the treadmill earlier. It's like it's so funny watching you on the treadmill because of your gorgeous lean length. And I'm just like I'm kind of doing about 3 paces and I'm worried about you. I'm like, she's gonna put a foot the other side. It's the stride is so big. It can't be your favorite way to train.
No, I mean, I much prefer being outdoors. For me, being outside in the fresh air is how I even like clear my thoughts and everything. For me, it's just a real mental release being outside. But the treadmill is a brilliant tool. Like it's a means to an end. So, and especially, I mean, growing up in Scotland, when there's ice and snow and it's cold and windy outside, and it's also just a little bit dangerous sometimes to go out if there's too much ice. So having the treadmill there as an option has been a lifesaver at times, and even more so ahead of my last race there
Yeah.
just a couple of weeks ago. I mean, I was on the treadmill every single day. I had people online telling me, oh, you're not going to be able to run fast running on the treadmill. It's not the same as running outside. And yes, I know that the mechanics of it are slightly different running on a treadmill. But at the end of the day, you're still running. I mean, you're putting one foot in front of the other. Running is running, whether you're doing it on a treadmill or outside, or around a track or wherever you're training. And it definitely paid off. So again, I think it comes back to that consistency. If you can still keep your training plan, stick to it, and be accountable to it, then you've got the best chance of running your best race or your own personal best.
I love that. I love that. Oh, it's not the same. You're not going to run faster. I think you'll find I did. When you were running as well, my eagle eyes, and it could be because you're being talked to by, timings and whatever, which I wouldn't be surprised at, but you were wearing headphones. Were you listening to music?
Yes, I do a lot. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So let us into the Eilish McColgan playlist. What's in there? Are you a drum and bass girl?
There's a lot of Kendrick Lamar. I'm a big Kendrick Lamar fan. We actually got to see him in concert in London not that long ago.
Amazing.
So mainly just, a lot of his album on repeat. I'd say a lot of, R&B, hip hop. That's the sort of music I'm listening to. More old school than newer stuff, perhaps. But it's a real mix, to be honest. I've even got little bit of Calvin Harris thrown in there as well, being a fellow Scot, proud Scot. Some of his more like upbeat tempos are obviously great for running. There's a real mix.
That Kendrick. Well, the last Kendrick Lamar album was absolutely incredible. It was amazing. It's kind of sort of a bit meditative as well. His voice in a little bit, isn't it? You can kind of I think sometimes I really enjoy running with music because it's what gets me up in the morning. It's what's driven my life, and so it feels weird to not have it there. But sometimes you have to find that happy medium though between something that motivates you, that's really encouraging and supportive and fun, and that's why you're doing it and groovy, and something that you can't you have to like take yourself out of running to the beat, because otherwise I'll be like I'll have done 300 yards and that's one song and that'll be me finished.
Yeah, I suppose like we can't wear them for racing.
No.
So I suppose in competition I use almost music and headphones as my warm up. Like it gets me, it takes me out of my environment. So if I'm feeling nervous and things, it's just a normal reaction then to put my headphones on, and then that's me in my little bubble, my own little zone. And it feels like robotic a little bit in the sense of that's my normal warm up. When I'm in that mode, then I know that I'm getting ready to race, I'm getting ready to perform. So it is the same sort of thing, like that feeling that you get to go out the door is the same feeling I get when I'm warming up. I'm excited and it gets me ready to go and race. But unfortunately we can't rely on it in the race. So I do a lot of my hard sessions. A lot of my interval sessions are without music, just because we don't have that luxury, unfortunately. But warm-ups and cool downs and all my easy runs and stuff when I'm indoors on the treadmill, I always listen to music.
You're talking about getting into the right frame of mind. So just your race day tips for a lot of people, for me, and first time London marathoners, first time big races. I did my first ever race. I did the Santa Run in the park at Christmas. It was 5K, and I'm doing a 10K at Crystal Palace, which is my first ever. What do you call it? A chip. I'm going to get a chip for the first time ever. So exciting. I love that. Yeah. But the London Marathon is, everybody says to me it's going to change your life. There's tens of thousands of people around. How do you get yourself to, as a rookie or anybody, you guys, how do you get yourself in the frame of mind to kind of do the work that you've done justice?
I'd say the biggest thing is trying to calm your nerves. So I always like to, the night before the race, like you want the most stress-free morning you can possibly have on London Marathon morning, because there's so much excitement, there's so much adrenaline. There's also just getting to the start line, trying to find a portaloo, trying to find where you line up, what clothes to take or dump, or, there's so much going on that you want to try and minimize that as much as you possibly can. So I'd say the night before, even if you make a note down on your phone of, this is what I do anyway, before all major races, like I'll write down what time I need to leave the hotel, or what time I need to have my breakfast, what time I need to start my warm up or get to the start line, whatever it is. I jot that all down in like a little bit of a I suppose, a little timeline. And in my head, it just makes everything feel a lot calmer.
Yeah.
Even getting my kit together the night before, you know, the shoes that you're going to wear, the socks that you're going to wear, the vest and shorts, you know, have it all laid out the night before. So in the morning, all you have to do is get up, get changed, get your breakfast, and get out the door. You know, there's not the faff of, I cannot find my energy gels, or I can't find my drink, or I can't find my shoes. You know, you have it all planned the night before. It makes a big, big difference then to stress levels on London Marathon morning. And
Yeah.
then ultimately, once you're there, like all the hard work by that point is done. So as soon as you stand on the start line, there's such a real buzz of adrenaline just from the masses of people around you. And you just, when you're there, you feel like it's a big deal. You know, that it's just hard to explain if you've never done it before. But once that gun goes off, like your nerves and everything do just vanish, and you're just so in the zone. You're just excited to be there with what is one of the most incredible races. And from start to finish, like the people, I know everyone says this, but the crowds and stuff really do get you
Yes.
through it. Because last year, I honestly, I think if that marathon had been anywhere else in the world, I actually don't think I would have finished. I was cramping up, I was really struggling, and yet yeah, the crowds from were just cheering me on the whole way. I think if I had stopped, they would have just like kicked me back in from the side and told me to keep going,
Come
because
on, let's get it. We
it's
need to help. Yeah.
yeah, honestly, it's really, really special. It's an incredible feeling, and yeah, I'm excited for you. You get to experience it.
It's just, you know, what's really lovely about this chat as well, and I really hope everybody, if you're listening, you know, you can hear this. What's really amazing about the London Marathon, as well, is that people like me get to run the same race as people like you, and it is just astonishing. It's such a privilege. It's such a privilege. It's quite emotional. It's really amazing, to be able to kind of to be able to just experience that sort of process, and be able to say, yay, me and Eilish McColgan have got something in common. Mine is about 5.5 hours, but you know, it was the same route, but
No,
it's amazing, isn't
really
it?
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's one of the, I always say this, it's one of the best things about running, because there's no other sport in the world that is like it. Like you can't just rock up to Wimbledon and play
Yeah.
on centre court alongside Andy Murray and things. You know, it's like you can't just rock up to the football club either and go and play against, I don't know, Liverpool or Arsenal, whoever's playing. It's like, but yet running, you run on the exact same course. You line up against Kipchoge and
Yeah.
Sifan Hassan and like all these incredible athletes that have, even for myself, like I'm lining up on the exact same start line that my mum lined up on
Oh my
30
gosh.
odd years ago. It's really cool. Like I get to go to loads of different races across the world, knowing that my mum's ran these exact same steps. I'm retracing her exact same route. And my mum, my dad, you know, it's that sort of thing is just so unique. And it's one of the coolest things about running. It doesn't matter what your PB is. Everyone's got their own personal best, whether someone's there to try and run as close to 2 hours for the marathon, like some of the elite men, or
Yeah.
as you said, people are running 8, 9 hours. It's like, it doesn't really matter. You know, every single person is doing the exact same feat that day. And it just doesn't happen in any other sport.
I'm hoping for a sub 3 day. I'm confident. You know. So, you know, I'll let you know how I get on. Listen, just a couple more bits of really crucial advice as well, because you've been in Dubai and you were obviously in Valencia as well. The word on the ground is that it might be another hot year. What is the how do you cope with the heat? What's your best advice about keeping hydrated?
Yeah, so I need this advice myself, because last year I was not prepared at all. And I think that's why I did cramp quite early into the race. I think, you know, everyone goes on about carbohydrates, gels, you know,
Yes.
getting in enough carbs. And so I was so focused on that. Being my first ever marathon, I wanted to make sure I was getting enough gels in every 5 kilometers. And I did that, and I ticked all the boxes, and it felt good. But what I didn't do was drink any water. I just did not even think remotely like, okay,
Wow.
it's
Yeah.
20 odd plus degrees, you know, maybe I should focus on getting a sip of water or electrolytes, particularly as well, for the amount that I would have been sweating. So that's a huge thing. You know, there are water stations all the way through the marathon. So as much as it's maybe annoying to slow down slightly to pick it up, you know, it'll have such a major effect further into the race when you are starting to get a little bit dehydrated. You know, it's hydration can play such a huge factor in performance. And then also obviously even for muscle cramping as well. And that's one thing, is it was horrible. I definitely don't want to experience that again. So making sure that you are stopping at the water stations as much as you can, picking up I know there'll be ready-made sort of electrolyte drinks as well. All of those things are so important, particularly on those hot days.
Okay. Listen, I know we've got to let you go. Just one more thing. So how fast was your marathon?
2 hours 24.
How long did it take you to do your hair today?
Yeah, it was like 3. Actually, it wasn't that bad. Normally I'm in the hairdresser's room at 6 hours, but we halved that time. So I think it was probably closer to a PB, about 3 hours maybe today.
So
absolutely brutal.
That's amazing that you ran 26.2 miles faster than you had your highlights. Love it. Absolutely love it. She's the fastest woman I've ever met. She's quicker than a hairdresser. I love it. Listen, really good luck in Japan. What happens after Japan? Are there long-term plans? Are you going to is another marathon on the cards?
It's really all just systems go towards London. So we'll do a race in Japan. We'll see how that goes. Then we'll assess whether I need another 10K or another half marathon. Obviously, if the half goes great, then we just build towards London. Big summer ahead on the track as well. We have the Commonwealth Games up in Glasgow. There's the Europeans in Birmingham. Both of those are on track. And then looking towards another marathon. I'd love to do one of the other majors. I have only done London this once. Hopefully this will be time.
Is the hope for London to obviously better time?
Yeah, that is really honestly the main goal. Like, some of the women at the moment are running incredible times. They're trying to go for world record times, the fastest that's ever been done in history. So for me, it's just focusing on trying to be as the fastest version of myself. I'd love to try and break 2:20. It's quite a big barrier. Not a huge amount of sort of European athletes have ever done that. So yeah, I'd like to get towards that sort of territory and be more competitive up the front end. But ultimately, a PB would be the main goal.
Well, look, if you need a little team talking to beforehand, Eilish, I'll impart my wisdom to you on the start line. It's been, look, it's an absolute honour to speak to you, especially in this context. It really is. So from me and all the other newbie rookie runners who are taking on the London Marathon this year, thank you so much, and have a brilliant London Marathon. Thank you so much to Eilish for joining us here on I Can Run a Marathon. How ace does that sound when you know you're going to be running in the same race as some of these people? It's really special, and we're very, very, very grateful to Eilish. Thank you. Thank you so much. Please, can we hear from you? There must have been so many things in there that were inspiring. If you're just taking up running, if you're training for something, let us know. Always lovely to hear about your running wins, what your plans are, where you are in your training, how it's going, the niggles, how's everybody's knees? We need to do a weekly knee check, I think, probably. How are your knees, wobbles, questions, tips? And you can leave a comment here if you're watching on YouTube. And of course, you can WhatsApp us on +44 333 00 333 00. Next week, joined by the one, the only, the inimitable Mr. Chris Evans from the Virgin Radio Breakfast Show. We've been following and using his book, 119 Days to Go, which has been a super good friend. It's like being a friend to me. It's my journal. And using some of his plans and some of his structures as well. He is evangelical about running. He's the one that convinced me it was a good idea. So we're going to put him to the test and tell us why it's so good. That's Chris Evans next week. And if you missed our conversations so far with Nell McAndrew, Helen Thorne, you will be able to see them, and Bryony Gordon, on the Virgin Radio YouTube channel. I will catch you on Virgin Radio weekdays from 10 a.m. and next Thursday on our podcast, I Can Run a Marathon. Yes, you can.